Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
I'm joined once again by Mayor Gerald Albers with the City of Lloydminster. Thank you again for taking the time with me today, Mayor. And now, obviously, the city has been forced to cancel numerous events here throughout the summer. So can you take me through some of those events and the reason for canceling?
So basically, as we all know, we're facing a pandemic of the COVID-19 across not our city, our provinces, our country, our world. So with that in mind, there's been a lot of discussion at a national level regarding Canada Day. And I understand some time ago, actually, the Minister of Heritage federally had indicated that they wanted to cancel Canada Day celebrations across Canada, including in the nation's capital. Taking that into account, things have not changed enough based on this Saskatchewan reopening plan to basically deal with all the factors in the city and events that were planned. So basically, Canada Day has been canceled. We're looking at a virtual Canada Day that people will hopefully be able to tune in live on a computer or a device and take part in that. Stay tuned. Well, there could be, it's not going to happen physically, but what can we do to try and to enjoy a very important part of our celebration? Among that, we had Street Fest planned on June 27th. That has to be canceled. The Pet Expo that was held last year, and again, it was planned for mid-June, that has been canceled. Our summer fun camps, which a lot of children look forward to, I know, through the summer. Those that don't always have a chance to get away to the lake would be looking forward to these a great deal, and it's going to put a little more added stress on many families, but we've had to cancel that as well, simply to follow the rules. And the other one is Heritage Day in the first week of August, which, again, another long weekend celebration that involves the community. So it's really disappointing. It is extremely disappointing to have to cancel these events, but again, following the requirements that's been laid out by the provinces, we have no choice, and the federal government. So working within the constraints that we've been given. And it leads to creativity, and that's where, like I say, let's see what we can do on Canada Day from our own individual backyards and from our decks and things like that.
And now, obviously, cancellations all the way up until August. But is there a possibility that this does get extended into the fall, depending on how this all shakes out?
It really will depend, Eric. I think that you're going to see various things get adjusted accordingly as we move forward in the fall within the community itself, be it city functions or non-city events. People are going to have to realize that people won't have the ability to attend, nor potentially the financial support that they'd like to be able to offer or buy tickets to attend certain events. So we're going to see this just move forward day by day, week by week, and month by month. I think we'd like to return to a sense of normal as soon as possible, but at the same time, no one knows when that is, and I don't even want to try to speculate that it would be the fall when it will be in the fall. We'll just have to see where time takes us.
And now, obviously, one of the bigger events on the summer calendar was the Saskatchewan Summer Games here for the city, but that will be moved until next summer, correct?
Absolutely. That's what the Summer Games Committee, the city, and Sask Sport Council have been in discussions. And again, we've watched what's happened in other provinces. And again, there was a great deal of hope that we were hoping that we could pull the event off, but we have to be realistic again. The health is critical, and people's safety, and the athletes. And it would be challenging for the athletes because they haven't had the ability to, especially team sports, to build that cohesiveness that a team would have and practice. So I think for the betterment of the youth to have a fuller and more enjoyable event, it is scheduled for July of 2021, and the tentative dates, I understand, are July 18th through 24th. This city has and always will put on a great show when we bring the province or the nation together, and this is no different. Volunteers come forward. We know we've had sponsors interested, and again, let's be honest, the economy is not what it is, and I can't expect people to be donating when they're trying to keep their doors open. So we're hoping that in a year we have a whole different picture. The committee has been kind enough to stay on. I understand everyone has offered to stay on from the information I've received, so that's important because we want to make sure we're not starting over again. And I think people in Saskatchewan totally can relate to that, as well as our city, because we want to do the right thing.
And speaking of summer, it's also a big time for yard and garage sales, but those will be prohibited here this summer. And that's, again, just about social distancing, making sure people stay within their circles, right?
So it is, but that's actually at a provincial level coming from the Department of Health and the health state of emergency that's in place in Saskatchewan. That is indeed just to ensure. And I know it's got to be, again, a hard thing because it's a social gathering as much as anything, and that is why it's a big concern from the ability that people of convening. And when someone sets up their garage in their front, there's not a lot of space, and spacing is not possible. And even though people might think they can, I think it's simply that state. There is no yard or garage sales allowed until further notice, and that we're waiting for the provincial government to bring that back in the Reopen Saskatchewan plan sometime down the road.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time. Always appreciate it.
Well, my pleasure, and thanks for keeping everybody informed as best as we can to the events or non-events, I'm afraid to say, that are not happening in our city.
I'm very pleased to be joined with Canadian country award-winning artist Gord Bamford right now. Gord, thanks a lot for joining me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Let's talk about, you had a tour coming up, but of course that had to get postponed, and you did move some dates because of the COVID-19 pandemic. What was your initial reaction when you found out that not only was your tour kind of put on hold, but also just the fact that you had to kind of move some dates around?
It was really disappointing. I mean, we were so excited about the tour, with the concept of the Redneck Music Fest, and having all those great Canadian acts out on tour was amazing, and so much different demographic of country music, so it was really disappointing not to be able to continue it. And obviously everybody's in the same boat now, but yeah, we're really disappointed. Our agent did a great job of rescheduling it, but unfortunately I think we're going to have to move it again, and I think probably into 2021, unfortunately, but definitely going to keep it going, and look forward to the day of getting back out and playing live music.
Absolutely. And of course you have some new singles out right now, including White Oak Cathedral and Just Let Go. Talk about some of the inspiration behind those two singles.
Yeah, they're very different, very different songs. This new music that we recorded last year, a whole bunch of it, like 40 new songs, kind of had, every type of country music, really, from the more traditional stuff to the more, I guess, call it radio-friendly stuff, which is Just Let Go. White Oak Cathedral is just available on any streaming platforms like Apple Music or Spotify or Amazon, anything like that. But it's getting a great response. It's all about being outdoors and coming into yourself with nature, and basically God finds ways into people's lives in different ways, and being out in nature and in the wide open space for me is one of them. So that's one of my favorite songs. It's doing well on streaming, and Just Let Go is starting to take off on the radio. So, I mean, that's all we can do right now is just keep putting out music and through different platforms, and continue to do that, and spend time on our social media, and be creative that way. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do.
Now, you mentioned being creative on social media. I've seen that, of course, you do some songs, you do some videos, you get a lot of your family involved as well. How important has that been for you to create that content for your fans?
Well, it's really, taken off for us. I mean, it's kind of weird that we weren't doing it before. I guess this whole COVID thing's kind of made us do that. But, it's a little, for me, I've got to really search for the social media stuff. But to have the family involved, my daughter's been doing some stuff on there, and has been fun, and seems to be really impacting for us. I mean, it's just what we do. It's just real, and yeah, it's one way to stay connected with our fan base out there, and hopefully bring in new fans.
Absolutely, and of course your new album Redneck, which is going to be your 9th studio album. When does that come out? And I guess for this album, how does it compare to some of your other ones?
Well, we kind of had a plan of putting out the Redneck Lifestyle album, which has kind of been put off now, unfortunately, with everything going on. So we don't really know when the next project's going to come out. What we do know is that it's going to be a big one. There's going to be 15 to 18 songs on it, and hopefully there's going to be a tour that we can go out and promote it. But fortunately for me, I spent most of last year not touring, which, in hindsight, I wish I would have after this year, but recording a whole bunch of new music. So we've got a lot of new music that hasn't been heard, and we'll find ways to get it out there and then put this big project together and go on tour. I'm kind of aiming for early 2021 now, and we're working through that with my agent at the moment, and we'll be making some announcements later on as to when we'll be out on tour. But it'll be the same sort of thing. It'll be, all Canadian artist based and more of a, a mini festival, a day festival with a bunch of different artists. And we'll take the new record out and use that as the platform to launch it, I would think.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see you back on stage along with many of the other great artists out there. So Gord, thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
So everyone has had to kind of change the way they're doing things, and faith organizations aren't any different. So I'm joined by Adrian from Grace United Church, and we're going to talk a little bit about some things that you guys have had to do to adapt with this pandemic. But first, I want to talk about, you guys did a cheer parade on Sunday. Can you just tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, the cheer parade sort of came up at first as a way to say thank you to our caregivers and to the hospital, those staff that we know are so important to what's going on, but also to kind of reach out to some of these people that are feeling a little on the isolated side. Our church, obviously being a little older in some ways, we have a lot of people in homes and in these care homes. So just to kind of get around and give them a little bit of excitement and a little bit to cheer them up a bit.
And so tell me a little bit about what you guys did. I know you put some balloons, you decorated some cars. Where did you drive, and how many people took part?
Well, we had 34 vehicles by my count. The parade was led by Lana Lane. She was one of our, kind of the one who spearheaded getting it all up and running and everything. And I pulled up the rear on my motorbike, and it kind of varied between balloons and streamers and teddy bears and signs, but all just signs of love and hope. We started out at the hospital in the Jubilee and did a good tour through there. Went over to, the Dr. Cook and the Hemstock and the Heartstone, which is where my breakdown moment was, watching everybody go around in this loop. 34 cars filled up that whole parking lot, and people were on their balconies. They were waving and smiling and just happy to see that.
That's
excitement
awesome.
And that noise.
Yeah, and I saw some pictures online. It looked like there's a lot of people there. It looked really lively, and it's great that you guys were able to do that. Obviously, you guys have had to make a lot of different changes with all the different public health restrictions that are in place here in Lloydminster. So how has COVID-19 changed the way that the church operates?
It's obviously completely changed the way it operates. This place is normally a loud, noisy, smelly with cooking and kids and all kinds of stuff. So adapting on our own, just with the two of us working in here, was a big enough change. But we have, as a church, we've actually been broadcasting our services for a little over 2 years on Facebook. So fortunately for us, it was a very, very small change to go from in-person worship to changing to just having this meetup online. So our worship team is quite small. There's only 4 of us that lead that every single Sunday. And so it's a change. It's a little weird to do a service looking at a camera, but we're finding that the watchership is going up, and it's just having some fun. Last week we celebrated Holy Humor Sunday, and that was a whole entire hour service of jokes and silliness and costumes and just ways to kind of have a little more fun. But we also do outreach. We have an outreach that we offer on Wednesdays, and that's been where we've seen one of the biggest impacts, because instead of allowing people to come in and be able to do that intake and learn more about them and their situation and how we can help them better, has just turned into at least still handing groceries out the door. So we do have the ability to cater to those that are a bit more on the vulnerable side. So it's just changing the interaction. We can't do the same intake, but we can still provide that option for people.
That's awesome. And I've saw that on your guys' Facebook page, you guys have been doing a lot of different things. You've been doing kind of like live videos and other stuff. Do you want to talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff you guys have been doing?
Absolutely. From the live videos, we have one of our programs called Meals and More, and that again, kind of we help to reach out to some of the people that are a little more on the vulnerable side, and also give the opportunity for people who maybe need to learn how to cook meals for their family or are looking for ideas. So we've kind of obviously lost that program, but in lieu of that, we've gone up on Facebook and sort of led these cooking shows. And then we've got I've got a congregation member knocking on the window behind me. This is turned into a fishbowl.
Yeah.
So we have these, and then our resident diva, Karen Fawcett, she's our music director. She's actually been posting up every week warm-ups, and here's how to keep on enjoying singing, and here's how to participate in our music program even from afar. I'm host, actually, I have on my other computer running beside me a Zoom virtual office. So people can still check in and they can have a face-to-face even though they're not actually able to be here. They can still talk one-on-one with myself or with Reverend Kathy or whoever else might be on the Zoom call at the moment. So lots and lots of tech training. I've been doing a lot of teaching people how to use Facebook and Zoom and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning curve, kind of a lot of people are learning a lot of new things. And this is the time too when a lot of people are kind of have to be apart, but maybe they'll need kind of maybe religion or spirituality more than ever. Do you think that you guys are playing an important role during this time?
Yeah, I think it's a huge role at this point, and it's interesting finding that there's other people reaching out that we haven't seen as a part of our church. So people that are actually reaching out over the distances and, you know, asking for that, and it's a change in finding a way to worship, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so if people want to find more information or find your guys' Facebook page, how are they able to do that?
Well, our Facebook page, we have both Facebook and Instagram set up, and it is Grace United CH if you're looking for it there. We post a lot of videos throughout the week. I'll post an update sometimes from the office. There's some pretty fun videos of me pranking the Reverend with a plastic skeleton, so that was a lot of fun. So trying to keep things light here.
For sure.
So we're Instagram and Facebook, and then we also have our webpage, which is just simply Grace United Church. And that actually has a calendar on it, and the calendar shows you all of our Zoom events, all of our outreach programs, our services, what the upcoming service is. And then we do have some resources if you're looking for a devotion, or if you're looking for some words of comfort, or a story from a fellow congregation member. We've been putting those up on our Facebook and our website as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us today about everything you guys are doing at church. Thank you.
No problem at all. Thank you for having us.
I'm joined here with Lindsay Seville, and she is the co-owner of Pure Vibe Studios here in Lloydminster. And now during this time, you guys are actually offering some free classes online for people.
Yeah, we definitely are. So we're offering free yoga, spin, bar, HIIT, and even Pilates classes.
And if people wanted to get involved, what are they going to expect?
Like where they can find us?
Well, what does some of the classes entail? Like, what are you guys really offering?
So we are offering the yoga classes. So there's a vast range. So we're doing anything from yin to power yoga. So something a little bit more relaxing, and then we also have something that's a little bit more physical. And then we also have meditation, guided relaxation, spin. So for those that do have a spin bike at home, bar, which is a combination of ballet, Pilates, and functional training all fused together, and then our high intensity workout classes as well.
And then you also mentioned that you guys have a paid subscription classes. So what are the differences between the free classes and then the paid?
Definitely. So the paid classes are actually a little bit longer in length. They're also recorded at the studio, so just the quality of the classes are a little bit different. So it just has better audio, and there's more variety and just more videos being uploaded on a regular basis.
And would you say that for these ones, you said they're longer, so would you say if someone was looking at the paid classes, they're a little bit more of a workout and higher intensity?
Yeah, some of them are. Yep, some of them.
And why did you guys really want to offer this to people in Lloydminster?
Well, originally when we first started, we started with the free classes. And so we just wanted to figure out the platforms and be able to offer something familiar to our members in our community in a really unfamiliar situation. It was a good way to stay connected and to have people still moving, being active and healthy and even grounded.
And for these classes, you know, since they are for people who maybe aren't getting a lot of exercise at the moment, would you say that this is a really good way for them to sort of push themselves and try and get into regular routines?
It definitely is too, and it also takes the pressure off of coming into a public class and into the studio a little bit.
And then for you guys, how can people contact you and find the information for these classes?
So you can find us, the free ones that we have are on YouTube. So you can just subscribe to our channel under Pure Vibe Studios. And then we're also on a private Facebook group so that you can just search Pure Vibe members, staying connected. And then for our paid subscription, if you go to our website, so www.purevibestudios.com, there's a link there where you can subscribe.
And you said for some of the classes, if people have their spins bike, they can do that and get involved. What are some other things that you guys are really utilizing that people might commonly have in their homes?
Yeah, definitely. So for yoga blocks, I mean, you can easily use a book, a soup can, just about anything will actually work for that. Blankets are another really good option, towels, and even for our yoga straps, you can easily use a belt or like your belt off of your house coat. A scarf will work. So there's lots of different things that you can use for the classes.
And what has the community support been like so far?
Oh, it's been really good. Tons of support, and it's nice to see.
Okay, well, for the last time, if someone is looking to contact you, they can just head to your guys' Facebook page?
They definitely can, or Instagram too, actually.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joining me today is Ollie Postinen and Jacob Arndown from On the Bench. Guys, thanks for taking this time.
Thanks for having us.
Now, guys, I guess for people that don't know who you guys are, just describe to me, I guess, what On the Bench is.
Hit it?
You can take it away.
Okay, I'll tell them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously, we're the best hockey players in the world, so we train NHLers. We're trying to get the NHL up to a level where we can finally join the league. That's basically it. Yeah, we're just the best hockey players in the world, and if you don't know who we are, then something's wrong.
Now,
right.
how has the COVID-19 affected you guys, I guess, in your goal of trying to make the NHL a better league?
Hasn't really affected us. It's just given us a little bit more time to train. Me and Jacob are doing 12 to 13 push-ups a day. We're getting bigger. We're getting stronger. We've been playing a ton of video games, 12 to 13 hours a day. So yeah. We, our visions is up to par.
Yeah.
And our hands are pretty much perfect. So
yeah, we never stop.
Yeah.
Now, you guys make quite a few different videos. One of your guys' favorites of mine is your how-to sort of segments. One of them that I can remember at least is your how-to sort of chirping video. How did this sort of come about, especially the how-to videos?
You can take it.
Well, the secret footage actually got leaked of skating on concrete, and then we had no choice but to just keep rolling with it. And
yeah, we tweeted it.
Yeah, show the world what we have. So yeah, just learning the fundies and teaching the fundies, it's just a big part of life, and everyone needs it, and they think they already know hockey, and then you see what we do, and it's way better than what everyone else does. So yeah, just working on those fundies videos is just a big thing, and it's kind of like a public service that we're doing for everybody.
Yes, well said.
Thanks,
now,
man.
Now for you guys, how did you sort of think about, making these videos? And when you started thinking about them, did you really think it would blow up like it has?
Well, before we go to the ice, before we go on the ice, well, I guess the concrete, we don't really, we kind of just plan out, be like, what does everyone suck at? And it's usually like shooting, skating, hitting, pretty much everything. So before we go on the crete, we just like, all right, let's work on this, let's work on that. But obviously we knew how good we were and how unbelievable the videos are and how trainingful they are.
Yeah.
So we knew it was going to go big, but we didn't think it was going to go this big.
Yeah. Like I didn't think Connor McDavid was going to be my best friend.
Well, he's my best friend.
No, he's mine.
It's like a mixed best friend.
No, he pages me every day.
Fine.
Yeah, you guys probably didn't think you'd be showing him how to play hockey. Exactly. Is there any maybe skills from each of you guys that you sort of take pride in as your number one tool?
For me, it's obviously my clapper power. I got the heaviest shot in the world.
It's pretty much second to none.
Yeah, and obviously I go with the round-the-world goalie killer slap shot style. And basically, like the title, it just goes through goalies. So even if you hit a 10 in the chest, it's still going to go in somehow because there's like 300-mile-per-hour shot coming right at your windbag.
Yeah. Mine, everyone knows me. They all see my game tape. Like I'm a mix between Crosby, so I got the power in the corners, edges like Johnny Gaudreau, shooting like Nate McKinnon. My release is just disgusting. So I have like I'm like the complete package. You just have like slap shots and stuff like that, but I'm like the all around. I don't even know what you would call it.
They call him the butter churner.
Yeah, because I just do everything.
You're what players wish they could be, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Like when you have Nate McKinnon and Crosby shooting pucks, they're like only posting it every time they shoot. Like they just want to grow up to be. It's pretty humbling.
Now, you guys have saucer passing nets, I guess you could call them, for people, working on their game during this downtime. What else do you guys sell, merch and whatnot, on your guys' website?
Well, we got the Fundies book. So now with like a lot of time, we have this number one selling book called the Fundies. So it's everything else you need to know about puck. We sell tarps and jerseys. You can get this pretty greasy snappers jersey.
Nice.
It's pretty deadly. We got mini sticks. It's all at On the Bench Shot Life if you're looking for some deadly gear. And our shirts, they actually, if you block a shot with them, you're still gonna like feel it, but it's gonna hit the shirt before your skin.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us, and thanks for giving us all this insight on really, I guess, first steps on how to be better hockey players.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Today I'm joined here with Renee Weinkoff, the owner of World Class Gyms, and today we're going to be talking just on that, on your plans on reopening and what you've been doing staying active throughout this quarantine. Thank you so much, Renee, for joining me. First, can we start? How has it been since having to close your gym?
Financially wise, obviously terrible. We got absolutely no income, and you still have your overhead. So owning a gym right now means bad. It means bad things.
And so what have you got, I guess, kind of been doing to help combat that, or, without having a gym to stay active, how have you had to stay active, or what have you been doing throughout this quarantine to kind of combat that?
I'm kind of blessed with the gym thing because no matter what, I still own a gym. I'm still allowed to be there. My family, my close family, is allowed to be there with me. So in reality, we are still going to the gym every day. But my family's very active. We're always doing sports or doing treasure hunts, or there's tons of things we're doing. We're always going in and out of the lake still. We're always out and about.
And so you obviously have a lot of members coming and going from your gym. Have you been in contact with them, or has anyone reached out to you on tips that you may have to stay active? Or what are kind of some of the advice that you give to people who you've trained or want to be trained during this time?
Yeah, I bet you I've been contacted from every single client I have because we are more of a family and a team. So we talk on a regular basis anyways, whether it be Facebook or texting or a call. But yeah, everybody's hating this. I mean, pretty much everybody in the world has went and bought a couple sets of dumbbells, right? I mean, it's every person I see on Facebook's looking for a set of dumbbells or were. And I'm trying my best to get little workouts that they can take home and do, because there's lots you can do with a set of dumbbells. There's a lot you can do.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Hundreds of different styles of workouts for sure. Now, the government of Saskatchewan just announced that they will be starting to reopen up, and Lloydminster is going to follow suit. So, what have you heard on how or when you're going to be reopening up world-class gyms, and kind of what is that process, or what are your plans for reopening?
Well, our hope is to be back out on the second phase there on the May 19th, which is probably a far cry because all the gyms are supposed to be whatever on the third phase where we don't have a set date. But because we're considered a personal training facility, not a gym. Like we have, 4 or 5 people in there at once, not hundreds. So hopefully we are going to be considered a little different so that we can open on May 19th. That is our goal. Hoping to get an answer today, actually.
And so, what can people kind of expect, or if you have that information when they do show up? Are there going to be those certain guidelines still in place, or certain guidelines that people have to follow if they want to use your facility?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually just making this up yesterday. When you go to a grocery store and you got the arrows now, right?
Yes.
You got to follow the arrows. Same thing are happening at the gym. As soon as it's open, until everything's taken care of, there will be arrows that every person in that gym is going to have to follow. So yeah, I'm going to put little sticky marks on the ground where you don't have a choice but to stick on that spot. I'm very firm. If someone doesn't do it, I'm going to ask them to leave. So.
And so you did mention that your gym is technically just for personal training. How will that kind of work within, kind of keeping a little bit of distance? Obviously, you still have to have that closeness when you are being trained. So what is kind of going to happen with that, with the social distancing aspect?
I shouldn't have to. Our gym's still pretty big. Our fitness center is still pretty big. I'll have no problem with the social distancing in there. Like I said, our gym is kind of like a big circle. So it almost works out perfect, like a grocery store where you just got to walk around the outside of the circle and one person stands there and the next person standing there. I guess I'll have to yell from across the room, but I can yell pretty loud.
And seeing as a lot of people are stuck indoors, a lot of people could have picked up, getting some exercise, maybe going on walks or doing exercises at home. So are you expecting new clients to come in? And if so, how can they kind of get in contact with you ahead of time before opening to kind of get a slot in to start on their workout journey?
It's good. I think it's going to be like a New Year's resolution time. I think everybody's come from sitting on their butts for so long is going to have this rage inside them that wants to get stuff done because they gained 10 pounds or they just felt like they've been lazy. I think it is going to be busy. They can contact me on Facebook or come down to the gym or give me a call. The number's all over the place. And we're already pretty full with our current members because our team is pretty strong, but we're always looking for new team members.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Renee, for taking this time out and talking with me. And hopefully you'll be able to reopen on that phase 2 and get back in business.
Thanks, Abby, for having me.